King Harris didn't drop a new single, he dropped himself out of jail. Yeah, you heard that right. While most celebrity kids are out here dropping photo dumps on Instagram, King just dropped his prison bars like they were studio ad-libs. This footage, it's so wild fans are calling it Prison Break, Atlanta edition. One guard even joked anonymously that he thought King was headed to soundcheck for an interview, not an exit door. Imagine clocking into your shift at a secure facility and boom Sun just moonwalks out the exit like it's an awards show. But here's where it gets crazy. The prison swears this footage doesn't exist. Oh really? Then explain how the internet just cooked up a full 4K clip of King strolling past security like it's Sunday brunch. Was it a leak, a cover-up, or just another famous kid privilege moment taken way too far? One thing's for sure, the memes are undefeated. Twitter's calling him Houdini Harris, while TikTok has already turned the footage into an escape challenge remixing his dad's old tracks. The footage itself is straight out of a movie. It starts with a grainy camera angle, dim fluorescent lighting, and then King Harris hoodie up, walking down a corridor that supposedly doesn't even exist on the official map. His pace, calm, steady, almost rehearsed. And just like that, the entire internet flips upside down. Fans are split between this is fake, and this is exactly what the system didn't want us to see, and the denials from officials, textbook. First they call it fabricated, then they call it digitally altered, then they say it's a hoax spread by online trolls. Sound familiar? It's the same playbook used every time footage leaks that isn't supposed to leak. Deny, distract, discredit, yet here's the kicker, this footage doesn't look like some cheap TikTok deepfake. The lighting matches the jail's architecture. The corridor King walks through aligns perfectly with blueprints leaked on a Reddit thread 2 years ago. The same account that posted alleged schematics of the Fulton County Detention Center. Even wilder, the guard shift roster from that night mysteriously disappeared from the state's online system. Eyebrows shot up higher than T.I.'s hat in a 00's video. Social media detectives are already dissecting every frame. One TikTok creator slowed the footage down frame by frame, pointing out a shadowy figure trailing behind King too far to identify, but close enough to suggest he wasn't alone. Another Twitter thread went viral after a user matched King's hoodie from the footage to the exact same brand he was spotted wearing at a previous court hearing. Coincidence or breadcrumbs left behind deliberately? And the reactions are wild. Supporters are screaming this is proof King has been framed all along and that the system is crumbling. Critics argue that if the footage is real, then the justice system is a circus, and King just made the ultimate mockery of it. Meanwhile, the memes are ruthless. One tweet read, "He didn't just drop verses, he dropped the cell keys too." Another viral TikTok used a clip of the escape footage over a remix of T.I.'s Whatever You Like, with the caption, "Whatever he likes freedom." Humor aside, the undertone is chilling because if this escape is real, it's not just a scandal. It's a collapse of the very system that was supposed to hold one of Atlanta's most high-profile young figures accountable. And what really pushes this into conspiracy territory is the silence from officials. Normally in a prison escape, even an attempted one, the Department of Corrections blasts out press statements, warnings, and lockdown protocols. Yet here, almost nothing. Just a vague line about no breaches reported at this time. If there was no breach, why is the footage so convincing? Why did 3 guards allegedly call in sick the very next day? And why did one whistleblower email claim that Camera 9 went dark for exactly 9 minutes during the same time the clip was recorded? Add to that a supposed leaked report from an anonymous prison staffer claiming King had been in talks with high-level visitors weeks before the footage surfaced. Who were these visitors? Why was their access scrubbed from the official log? And why after this meeting did King suddenly get transferred from one unit to another under routine security adjustments? Scandals don't explode out of nowhere. They build up like pressure in a boiler room, and when the valve breaks, the fallout is catastrophic. This isn't the first time King Harris has thrived in chaos either. His whole public persona has been shadowed by controversy and headlines. Remember when he clashed with a Waffle House worker on Instagram Live? That was a blip compared to this. Now people are digging up old lives, old lyrics, old posts, anything that might hint at an escape plan. So now the stage is set. T.I.'s son, supposedly caught escaping jail on leaked footage, silenced officials, suspended guards, and millions of fans dissecting every pixel. This is bigger than one kid walking out of a detention center. This is about corruption, accountability, and whether the walls we think keep people in are actually made of paper when fame and power are involved. And just when you think the smoke might clear, another leak drops. A supposed classified memo circulating in Telegram groups claiming an unauthorized corridor breach. On the exact same date as the footage, the memo doesn't mention King by name but refers to inmate K.H., and that's enough to send the internet into a frenzy. The so-called King Harris escape tape didn't just trend, it detonated. Within hours, it was everywhere: TikTok edits, Instagram reels, Twitter threads, even reaction videos from people who had no clue who King Harris was yesterday. Some called it the most shocking celebrity scandal of the year. Others said it was the greatest marketing stunt ever pulled. At first glance, the footage looked impossible to fake. The lighting, the angle, the way King moved calm but urgent, not panicked. You could even see the faint red glow of an exit sign reflecting off the floor. Every detail screamed authenticity, but then came the real mystery. No news outlets could confirm where it came from. No uploader name, no timestamp, no IP origin. It just appeared like a digital ghost dropped from nowhere. By the time the clip hit 20 million views, social media had already split into three camps. Camp 1, the believers. They swore the footage was 100% real. They said King had been mistreated inside the facility, that this was his only way out. Some even started online petitions demanding his freedom, using hashtags like #FreeKingHarris and #JusticeForKing. Influencers jumped in live, streaming emotional rants about the system and celebrity targeting. Every hour, a new video surfaced claiming inside information about how King supposedly planned the escape months ago. Camp 2, the skeptics, they weren't buying it. To them, the whole thing screamed viral marketing. Some pointed out that King had been teasing a major drop. Days before the clip appeared, was this it? A visual metaphor for escaping the industry's control. They argued it was part of a bigger campaign, maybe a new album, a docuseries, or a collaboration. These viewers slowed the footage down frame by frame and noticed what they called director-style lighting and intentional camera motion. To them, the escape looked rehearsed, almost cinematic. And then came Camp 3, the conspiracy crowd. They believed the footage was real, but that it wasn't about King escaping. They said it was part of a larger setup, a distraction from something bigger happening inside the facility that night. Some even claimed the figure in the video wasn't King at all, just someone who looked like him, planted to send a message. Message from who? That's where theories spiraled. Some whispered about record label politics. Others blamed law enforcement leaks. A few said it was all tied to an underground group that exposes corruption by fabricating viral hoaxes. In just one night, the internet turned into a crime scene investigation lab. Reddit threads compared satellite images of the prison's exterior. TikTokers claimed to decode hidden messages in King's old posts. One viral video pointed out that the clock on the wall behind King showed 2:37 a.m., the exact time a power outage reportedly hit a nearby Atlanta district. Meanwhile, official sources stayed completely silent. No confirmation, no denial, just nothing. That silence made people even more suspicious. Then something unexpected happened. A new, shorter clip surfaced. This time, it showed the same corridor but empty. A few seconds later, a guard walks in, looks around, and slams the door. The audio crackled faintly, and a distorted voice whispered, "He's gone." Whether it was authentic or not, nobody knew. But it didn't matter, the internet had already decided it was real. Mainstream outlets finally jumped in, trying to chase the story. Morning talk shows debated it like a pop culture mystery. Some journalists reached out to the Harris family, but their reps gave the same line, no comment at this time. That only fueled more questions. Where was King Harris now? Was he safe? Was this even recent footage or something filmed long ago? The narrative evolved by the minute. Meme pages mocked the prison's security system, while others started claiming the whole facility was under lockdown. Fake news screenshots circulated, pretending to be official FBI updates. People posted blurry photos of random guys in hoodies, claiming, "I just saw King at the gas station." Even musicians joined the conversation. One rapper tweeted, "If King really escaped, that's legendary energy." Another replied, "Y'all don't realize how dangerous that his man's life could be at risk." By the second day, hashtags about King Harris had more engagement than major news headlines. Every influencer wanted a piece of the story. YouTubers released 40-minute breakdowns. Podcasts ran exclusive investigations. One content creator even faked a phone call with a prison insider just to get clicks and got exposed hours later. But behind all the noise, a few small clues quietly slipped through the cracks. A verified journalist posted that an anonymous informant had shared details about a fire alarm triggered the same night as the footage timestamp. Another mentioned an unplanned van departure from the facility around 3 a.m. Both details matched the timeline from the video, but neither could be confirmed, and that's when people began to question whether this was even about an escape anymore. Maybe King Harris hadn't broken out, maybe he'd been taken out. Some claimed he was moved under witness protection. Others thought he'd been transferred secretly. The line between fact and fiction blurred completely. Even celebrities who usually avoid controversy began dropping cryptic posts, emojis of keys, chains, or open doors. Fans analyzed every detail, convinced it was all connected. But one thing became clear. Whether it was a stunt, a cover-up, or something darker, the footage had changed King Harris's image forever. From a rapper's son to the face of a digital mystery that no one could explain. And just as the frenzy reached its peak, a new file began circulating in private Discord servers, a supposed part 2 of the footage, showing what happened after the door closed. No one knew who uploaded it. No one could prove it was real, but the thumbnail alone, King Harris running down an unlit alley, was enough to send the internet into meltdown all over again. 3 days after the so-called jail escape video went viral, the internet was still spinning. News channels, podcasts, and reaction pages kept replaying the same clip while everyone tried to decide what was real. When the facility finally issued a short, dismissive statement, "No inmate named King Harris has escaped. All individuals accounted for," nobody believed it. The clip looked too real. Audio engineers began breaking down the footsteps, while digital forensics experts noticed faint reflections of camera gear on a steel door. That single discovery flipped the narrative. Maybe the footage wasn't surveillance at all. Maybe it had been filmed intentionally. Speculation exploded again. Some fans were sure it was a documentary in disguise. Others claimed it was a creative protest, and a few thought it was an elaborate metaphor for breaking out of Fame's prison. Then a second video surfaced. It showed a dim recording studio and a hooded figure believed to be King Harris speaking softly under a single bulb. "You think you know what you saw, but what you saw was just the symptom. Nobody asks what happens behind the bars." The clip cut off before his face appeared, but that single sentence was enough to set the internet ablaze. Was King exposing corruption, launching a project, speaking from hiding? Within hours, hashtags like #WhereIsKingHarris and #ProjectEscape trended worldwide. Fans tried matching the studio background to known Atlanta locations, even comparing reflections on the microphone to tattoos King had once shown on live stream. But just as suddenly, everything disappeared. The clips were deleted, the accounts suspended, and re-uploads removed under copyright claims. The silence that followed was louder than any confirmation. When reporters finally reached T.I.'s management, the statement read only, "King is safe, he is focused on recovery and family matters, we ask for privacy." It wasn't a denial, but it wasn't an explanation either. Fans refused to let go, digging through old posts and lyrics for clues. To them, every line, every emoji was part of a code. Podcasts began calling the mystery the Harris illusion. YouTubers praised it as the most genius viral experiment of the decade. Conspiracy forums claimed it was performance art about fame, control, and perception. The way online stories can erase the boundary between truth and fiction. Then, without warning, a teaser appeared on a verified account titled King Harris, Out of Bounds, a documentary event. The thumbnail was the same dim hallway from the original footage, and the caption read, "You saw the footage, now hear the truth." Instantly, the internet froze. Every rumor suddenly made sense. The leaks, the silence, the chaos. Everything had been part of a larger narrative. King hadn't escaped. He had constructed an idea of escape. He hadn't run from prison walls. He had challenged the digital cage of public perception. When Out of Bounds finally premiered, it shattered streaming records. The documentary revealed a layered story about mental pressure, public scrutiny, and how easily rumors become reality. King spoke candidly about how people believe whatever aligns with their expectations, how pain becomes entertainment, and how he decided to take control of that cycle. The film ended with his closing words, "They didn't trap me in a cell. They trapped me in a story, so I decided to rewrite it." Critics called it a masterstroke. Fans saw redemption. Skeptics labeled it spin. Yet, no matter what anyone believed, one truth stood unchallenged. King Harris had transformed chaos into art. What began as a scandal had evolved into a statement. Somewhere between the illusion and the truth, he had found freedom, not by escaping walls, but by rewriting the narrative itself.